Hello and welcome. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Tuesday's just nothing but a Tuesday, right? That's what we can say. But it is Tuesday and it is intense Tuesday. But and that intensity of energies. Whew, big breaths, big breaths. Feeling Feeling pretty good. Feeling a lot. I think there's a lot of unforeseen energies that are going on. Now, of course, two of our personal planets are retrograde still, and that is Mercury and Venus. Venus has stopped, and she will be going forward Friday night, Saturdays. I'll say Saturday morning for us. And Mars is in Capricorn. Wow. So Venus is, she's slowing down and looking around and trying to figure it all out and what's going on and looking at the energies. And there's feeling deep, intense. I mean, we got the moon. Oh, the moon. The moon's our internal core, right? The moon is what we feel. It's our intuition. It's our psyche. And it's in the depths of Scorpio. And it's squaring over to that sun over in Aquarius. And we got this 3/4 square. So there's this intensity, this feeling of deep, intense issues. Yet Mars is coming in and it's exalted. It's like, yeah, we're going, we're doing this, baby. And Mercury is heading into Capricorn. So we're going to have like Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Those are three very personal energies. It's our communications, our drive, our relationships. It has to do with our projects. It has to do how we receive, how we promote, how we act, are all in Capricorn. So then we have to take a moment and let's think about what is Capricorn and that Capricorn energy. It's like, man, we've had a lot of Capricorn energies. Like, when will it be done? When? Well, until Pluto gets out of there fully in 2024. So, 2 years. You're just like, oh, yeah, okay. Just think if you're a Capricorn, you're probably saying, oh, 2 more years. What the hell? So, we're looking at our personal planets. We're looking at Pluto or Mercury's going to be conjuncting Pluto again, hopping over, and then hopping over again to go forward. So this is getting down to the deep roots of how we communicate, how we connect, and looking at those connections. How do and what's not working, and making sure that we're not short circuiting. And then we have, with Venus stationary, and we have, that North Node in Taurus. It's like, she's my ruler. you know, this is like looking at our, backward motion of revaluing our or making big choices. Like, this is, North Node is tangible. It's in Taurus. It's what, this is what I see, this is what I feel. It's like, I have a book. This is a book I'm reading. This is a book I have. You know, and conjuncting Pluto, sort of weird, deep change, transformation. This is about our who we are. And sometimes this isn't the easiest of energy, but we can feel that there's this motivation, this tension, this energy that wants to bring us together and unite us. Now, here in Canada, we have this huge convoy, and every time I watch any videos or talk about anything to do with the truckers and the convoys, it kind of like gets you like deep to the core, because it's like a sleeping giant has awakened, where people think, well, Canada's just passive. Yeah, we're passive. We can be. but we don't like to take any shit. And when things get to a point that no one's listening to us, the sleeping giant awakens. This is where we are trying to keep the best. And we have that Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. Now that's, I mean, there's some real beautiful trines of expansion and really wanting to get connected. But the basis is, when we go back to the Capricorn's the mountain. Capricorn is cardinal. It's not mutable, it's cardinal, it's a leader. And it wants to go forward with things. It has to have a forward motion on what it is that you are wanting to change and transform, to bring into transformation. What is it that you are wanting to do? We have a specific agenda here of going up the mountain. And we have to be wise. We have to take those times and go onto the plateau and say to ourselves, maybe I need to reflect on the direction I'm going. Maybe I need to take a better view of what's happening so I can make the proper decisions on the directions I'm going. And maybe I'm not getting all the communications or the in. And Mercury's not going to go direct to what, February 4th? So that's after the new moon, after we come into a new Chinese New Year, which is all about the tiger and the water tiger, so we're coming into some real new funky energy, and Pluto's going to 27 degrees. We've never had Pluto at 27 degrees in our lifetime. At the end of Capricorn. Oh my God, this is like transformational energy and direction. That means you might be sitting on that plateau and you're thinking, God, do I have to go up that next flight? But in taking that moment, you might be finding that there's another way. There's another direction. You might find all of a sudden there's a tunnel that leads you to the other side, that leads you to where you're going. So you have to take that moment. You have to take that moment of looking and saying, why am I keep on pushing in this direction? Is it because that's what everybody told me to do? Is that what I've always done? Is that really my truth and my values? In comes, of course, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, looking at our values, looking at our belief system. Is this true to who we are? Is that true to where I want to go? And Pluto's digging it up and saying, well, this is what's always happened. This is what we've always done. And it's like, oh, and there's Jupiter and Neptune saying, hey, man, there's always another way. We can do this differently. So not to go into freak out, right? Don't freak out, man. Don't freak out, because there's always a better way of doing things. There's always something, we can look at. And looking at a better view and not to go into the freakouts. There's pressure with this Capricorn and with Pluto going into 27 degrees. There's wanting structure, but looking for that structure, looking for the structure when to our personal planets are retrograde. It's mainly like we want to know, but they're on holidays. So it's confusing. We're confused. We're looking, we're sitting, feels like we're being hung, but not. And now personally, this week, we have to start paying attention. We have to really start paying attention. Is there another way, another outlook? Is there where, with that moon coming in with the south node, a purge that we need to make? And with that trine to Neptune and saying, hey, if you give it to God, if you give it to your Holy Spirit, if you give it to your angels, if you give it to your goddess, your source, your divine, whatever you want, if you hand it over. And I wrote this out on my Facebook today. When you hand it over and say, you know what? I have been a little bit dream world, but now I want to have structure and have that structure. I want to come into what I can put my, this landing place in amongst where, yeah, it's a little crazy out there right now. where our energies are going to be intense. They're going to be intense probably, let's give it to February 10th. We have this intensity that's going to be there for a little bit, but that's okay. It's when you have that foundation, because pressure, the deepest things in life, bringing up the fears, and with that T square, with the sun and Saturn and the moon squaring Saturn and trining Jupiter, it's complicated and it's getting over our fears. Destined karmic relationships, things we do, how to connect with it, how to let it go. What's your foundation? Comes back to a foundation. Bringing in our foundation in amongst a world, and again, the world, there's a lot of warmongering energy out there. There's a lot of fear energy. Now you're getting, I guess I posted it too. Posting, look, there is nothing on the shelves. Oh, people are just freaking out. It's not a time to freak out. It's a time to breathe. It's time to contemplate. It's a time for us to really look at look on our journey of the unknown of some sort of scrutiny and some kind of surety, yes, looking into that. This is to need to release anything we have been holding on to for a long time, to look at our basis and say, yeah, you know what, maybe I don't have to be holding this boulder anymore. I'm going to put that down. Okay, oh my god, I can let my arms go down. Oh, my shoulders, I'm releasing. And what change is not happening? And what are we holding on that's stopping that change? And maybe you're like, I don't know, I have no idea, and you're freaking out. Take a moment. That's what I had to do this morning, because it's where in my own life, where Steve hadn't been working for like 3 months off and on because of craziness with his last job, and promises made, promises broken. Um, wanting to, getting a job, then not having the job, or not, it's just get the hours. So it's taken a whole 3 months or so. Now, any of you know what it's like if say you don't have income coming in for 3 months. It's pittance, right? It's like, oh my God. So things get screwed up in the finances. And things sort of get kind of bumpity. And now we're at a point of, okay, it's really bumpity, it's really crazy, but maybe we just need to take a moment and not get so caught up in it. It's not saying that we're ignoring it. It's not saying that it's not going to get done. But what it is saying is that instead of trying to tackle it all at once, maybe there's just little bits and little chunks that we can do. And yeah, there is that fear, there is that anxiety that comes with it, especially when it comes to financial instability. Yes, definitely. But there's only so much within your power at this time. And this is when that surrender happens. This is when you go back to your basis. This is one of the beautiful things that, for me, that I was taught, that prayer is power. Coming back to prayer and meditation and whatever you do is power. Coming back into your meditation, taking that moment of connection. And when I was studying to be a sister, Sisters of Charity of Mother Seton, Sister Gertrude took me aside because I was young. I was just like, oh my God. Every weekend we had retreats. Every weekend I was doing sharings, and I was setting up, doing prayer groups, and, doing scripture study and stuff. I was like, by the end of like, this is little new me, and not at about 18 or so, not really understanding the dynamics of my energy, of of how much I was an empath because, yes, I knew that I was intuitive and saw ghosts and, that to me that, yeah, that's the normal, right? That's okay. But not taught how to, with all of that excess energy. And sister could see that and she took me and she said, "Come on, come out of the room." And she goes, "You got to take a moment to breathe." And she sat me on a chair in another room, and their retreat was in this old house, this house in Summerland. Now, this house was this house was really haunted. It had a lot of different energies, and I was always seeing different shadows going here and there, and energies or images popping up in front of me, and all kinds of stuff. So, but besides that, and then putting on the retreat, and in I think no, maybe I was in my early 20s. But anyways, it was like, okay, I got to figure this out. So she took me and she says, "Just put your hands on your heart and breathe." That's what she said. Now, she didn't say meditation. She didn't say, and she goes, "Just close your eyes and put your energy on Jesus and just breathe and repeat his name and hand it over to him." So whatever's going on, bring that in, bring that energy in and hand it over to Jesus. And that's what she told me. And as I did that, it was a sense of like calm, peace that came over me. And through everything that I've been, craziness in the last few months, it's coming to that. Okay, putting my hands, you hear me tell you guys that all the time. Put your hands on your heart, put your hands on your heart. Come into that centeredness because that is a connection to your soul. That is connection to the depth of who you are. And when you take one hand on your heart and take another hand just below your belly button, that's your hara. That is your center. That is your shamanic energy. So when you're doing this and you're just coming into some breaths, and you could say release, release, release. You don't have to use the word Jesus. If you have issues with Jesus or you have issues with anything like that, I mean, you don't have to use that word, okay? Um, to me, Jesus is just a hippie who wants to love you and sit around and chat. But anyways, you could just go release, release, release. Release, release, release. And do that a couple times. And then ask, what do I need to know? What do I need to know? And then you might get another question back like, what do you need to know to what do you want? What is that you're desiring? What is that direction? And this is very much, with, aligned with the energies where we want to come in and it's stopping and we don't want to looking at what is stopping us from our change, stopping from us from continuing that crazy loop. And there's a lot of influence with our conscious physical lives and with the planets and the communication and the expression and our relationships and our energies and our drives for the physical drive and how we bring things into the physical manifestation. And being all in the sign of Capricorn, it is a sign of structure. And with Mercury and Venus, they're retrograde, that there is a deeper look into those areas. There's a deeper look into those patterns and what is really driving you. So taking a look at the energies that are supporting you into the deeper roots. And there's something there that is not quite or thought of into the perceptions or root of it. It's getting, with that Pluto there, it's getting to the root. And today is going to be taking that support or that look into a deeper level of your roots, your structure, and taking a deeper look on saying and exploring and excavating these patterns, coming into the deep within the subconscious of our belief structures. This is looking into and saying, whoa, okay, maybe it is this guilt, shame, blame that I've been holding on that's not allowing me to go forward right now. Maybe I'm a fearful. Funny thing is like sometimes it was Lisa Nichols was talking about, creating abundance, earning money. And she said that she would stop just below making $1 million. And one of her mentors asked her, like, why? Well, I don't need $1 million. I'm fine with earning $999,000. Why do I need a million? And the person says, why not? And for her just to get to that point in her life was huge, because it was like nobody in her family had ever earned that type of money. And it was almost where her thoughts, when she sat there and she was looking deeply into her thoughts and deeply into her meditation, and she discovered that one of her blocks was, if I earn $1 million, what do I think about millionaires? I mean, I'm a girl from the hood. I'm a girl who was raised in LA. And I was told so many things I couldn't be when I grew up. And she thought that if I earn $1 million, maybe people are going to think that I'm snobby and I'm bigwig and I'm too good. And then she goes like, but I moved from there to make changes in my life so I can do some greatness and create some really good things. And her eye just flipped her thoughts, just flipped it. And every, when I hear her talking about that, it makes me think sometimes it's like, when you are beginning to create abundance, many times we'll stop that, whatever it is, because there is a belief that is there or that is rooted, that we think because it's a belief system that I don't want to offend that person. Maybe if I earn more than my parents, if I earn more than anybody in my family, oh, what does that mean? What does that look like? What does it mean when I step into this new energy and change the vibration of my ancestors? To change that vibration of my ancestors, to bring forth the abundance, to bring forth the prosperity, so that I can create that vibration going forward for the next generations. Think about it. Sometimes it's kind of like a mind fuck. And sometimes it is one of those things that, yeah, okay. For me, stepping into what I do is like, it's not $1 million. Maybe one day it will be, but it was stepping into doing something that I knew was something I had to do without a shadow of a doubt, with the criticism from my family, with the criticism of my children, sometimes friends, and saying that, no, this is what I have to do. I've been, when my husband, like, he was getting very frustrated, he's like, go out and get another job, go get a regular job, and just really wanting me to, fix this, basically fix this, right? And it was like inside myself, and it was like, no, I just have to trust. I have a foundation. I know this is where I'm going. I don't want to go into that crazy loop of fear. I don't want to go into that crazy loop of lack. And sometimes, yeah, things go crazy. Sometimes, yeah, I don't have it at this time. And it's like you get the calls, and you're like, okay, because they want their whatever their agenda is. And it's like, oh, but right now that agenda doesn't jive with me. It doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect them or not do it or not pay them. But right now, you know what? I need food, I need gas. So you have to prioritize. And then you have to come in and you have to give thanks for everything you have. Not in a smug way, but this is letting you know that the root of your beliefs, where The transformation needs to take place, and how the quantum entanglements are presenting themselves and getting to a place of energetically to unravel from the point of origin. You can't, if you keep on diving in there and diving in there and thinking you can do it and thinking you could change it, and I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to do this way, you got to come the hell out. Take that step back and say, you know what, I am untangling this, but it's going to take me a little while. And that's okay, because I'm going to put my trust in the Holy Spirit. I'm going to put my trust in my divine and in my God and in my goddess. And I'm going to ask for their guidance, and I'm going to do things up to the Holy Spirit. And I'm going to bless everything, blessing everything with love and light and pure source energy in all that I do and all that I say and all that I be as I step forward and as I go towards what it is that I am desiring within my life. In a world that is unraveling and just going down crazy, I want to stay up onto my plateau, onto my perch, and say, yeah, I can see that, and I'm going to bless it so I can go forward. And it's not an easy road sometimes. Sometimes when you have to enter into that tunnel to get to the other side, it's scary. Sometimes there's bats. Sometimes you won't be able to see the hand in front of you, but you got to trust the light inside of you. That's what we're heading towards. That's what's unraveling at this time. That's why it's so scary, because sometimes we can't even see 2 feet in front of us. We can only go by that guidant light. And this is for us to go into the depths within our core and belief structures that form patterns of psychological influence and behavioral conditions. And today we are looking at behavioral energy that has conditioned us to believe in a certain way, in a certain action, and do it in this way. And when you do it this way, we're going to pat you on the head. But inside of us, this internal light is saying, no, we're not going to do it anymore. We want change. We want something that is better for the next generation. We want something better for the children. If there is not a better structure, we know that past decisions have fucked up things that are now. We know that. Owning it and say, whoa, man, I fucked up here. Could you imagine if the prime minister or president came up and said, okay, this thing that we did the last couple years kind of fucked up, but we want to make some, this is what we want to do going forward. What? Not trying to push it aside, not trying to sugarcoat it, but own it 100% and saying, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do to make the changes. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? It's just like, and that's all anybody wants. It's expected that we need to own ours. So do other people. So does everybody else. You can't expect everybody. It's not all yours. It's not all yours. Only own what is yours. And today offers a lot of that deep look into that moon in Scorpio, which is deep, deep, and what we want to make. So to feel liberated and good and doing what makes us feel good and letting go of what isn't. And that's what we got to step. And it's a constant thing. It's a constant thing. A cut, clear, delete, get the hell out of here. Cut, clear, delete, get the fear out of here. Cut, clear, delete, get the fuck out of here. But it's taking those steps. It's doing that work. And as you do it, yeah, sometimes it feels 1 step forward and 2 steps back, but at least you made the step forward. So it's only 1.5 steps. So today, take a moment, look at, and how this entanglement is presenting itself to you. And it might be over really like a big string that is like, oh my God, how am I ever going to untangle it? Bit by bit. That's all we can do. So take a moment and do a little bit today, maybe a little bit tomorrow, maybe a little bit this afternoon. But if you're going to try and do it all at once and you're worrying the hell out about it, that means that you're worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. So take a moment, come into the present, because it is a present, and just love your life, love who you are, and believe, believe, and make sure you bring joy into all that you do. Have a blessed day. And if you're wanting a consultation, go to thegurumama.com/home and book a consultation there. We got tarot classes coming up in March. There's packages there if you want to do 3, 6, or 9 sessions, and you can sign up on thegurumama.com. So, love to connect with all of you, and let's make this a better world step by step. Have a blessed one. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say, in all that you be, in all that you do. Shine the light in the darkness. Blessed be everybody, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.